Welcome everybody to a look at an Imprint Asia release, and it is 2003's The Blind Swordsman Zatoichi, also known as just Zatoichi. So this is directed by Takeshi Kitano, who also did the likes of Sonatine, Violent Cop, Boiling Point, and Brother. So this is a period action film, clocking in at 116 minutes long. Although the back of the box does not say that, it's got that running time wrong, unfortunately. So I don't know why. But yeah, it's about blind traveller Zatoichi, who is a master swordsman and a masseur who with a fondness for gambling on dice games. When he arrives in a village torn apart by warring gangs, he sets out to protect the townspeople. Now, the original series of 26 films starring Shintaro Katsu. Hang on, I just forgot to get the actual box set of such films. Oh, they're a bit dusty. I haven't got this box down in a while, so I do apologise. But yeah, the original series wasn't a consistently high quality series of films by any means necessary, but they were an amazing film series to watch, go through regardless. And this is released by Criterion, and yeah, hefty piece of film collecting, that's for sure. Certainly wasn't cheap, but an excellent film series overall. Now, granted, not all 26 were in that box set. The 26th and final film was released well after the last film in the 70s. So unfortunately, it's not included in that box set. But still, more often than not, the films in that series were excellent. I gave 10 of them in a 4.5 out of 5 stars, which is obviously quite a lot. So I was interested to see what Kitano could do with the character, especially given I've enjoyed several of his films before. And for the most part, he succeeds in the role, although it doesn't quite hit the highs of the prior films. But it's not a million miles off at the end of the day. That said, the cast is really good, the period production is convincing, it is well paced, the action scenes are solid, the score is great, the cinematography is on point, it is generally engrossing, and even has a few laughs throughout. Just a shame then that there are some poor decisions when it comes to the special effects, because yeah, this is a very early adopter of blood special effects and violent special effects as well, in terms of being people being stabbed and whatnot. And yeah, it's just not got the technology of the at the time to do those kind of effects. They look awful for the most part. There's one bit where a guy gets stabbed and you see the back end of the katana come through his back, and it looks like it's clip art. It looks like it's just been clipped onto the shot, and it's barely tracked in a convincing way, which is a great shame because the action scenes in themselves are really rather good. There are some elements that are quite bloody. There are some practical blood uses as well, but more often than not, the CGI blood doesn't then get sprayed onto people. So you got all this blood spraying all over the place, and no one or none of the objects that are around them get any of it on them. It's not always the case that that happens, but it's more often than not that it does. And yeah, it just really just pulls you out of the film, to be honest. And at the end of the day, a period production film like this, which it is at the end of the day, with all of the action and the blood and the violence, still a period production film, and those special effects just look like 2003. They don't look like they're of part of that world at that time. So yeah, that's a big shame, and the final act is a little dragged out. But at the end of the day, it's still a more than worthy effort, especially given it's come out 14 years after the last Shintaro Katsu film, which came out in 1989. That was his final hurrah in the role that he'd been in for a good 30 or so years before. No, 20 odd years before, should I say? But still, it's a good enough release. I like the new artwork that it's got going on. I think this is new artwork, but we also have different kind of artwork going on as well with the case. But like I said, there is a typo in terms of the running time that fooled me. I was like, oh, that's only an hour and a half filmish thereabouts. Get that done in no time, and then it turned out it's 20 minutes longer. So yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. So yeah, this is part of Imprint's new Asia range. So this is only the third release that they've done so far. I've not got any of the other ones yet because this is the one that interested me the most. There's the printed disc. We've also got an image on the back. There's Kitano there. And in terms of extras, well, we do actually have some for once. because out of the 5 that I've bought in this kind of recent batch, only Green Eyes has so far had any extras. So it's nice to have someone here. So 1080p high definition presentation of the film. Audio commentary by film historian and author Sean Redmond from 2024. The making of The Blind Swordsman, Zatoichi archival featurette. Crew interviews, archival interviews, and yeah, theatrical trailer on top of that. So yeah, it's nice to have some extras for once from Imprint. And I know I'm saying that in a bit of a glib way because obviously more often than not they do have extras on their discs, but seems to have been a bit of a blind spot for the last few films. So yeah, it's nice that this one at least does have some extras on it. So yeah, but I do highly recommend watching the original series of films. I know I've shown this box set off before, but that was a while ago. But yeah, it's a superb series of films, and I do highly recommend getting them. I'm not sure if they're easy enough to get a hold of anymore, but yeah, The Blind Swordsman. It's just a fantastic set, and it's just a fantastic series of films. I watched all of them virtually back to back. I remember last year, and that made Shintaro Katsu my most watched actor for that year, despite never seeing a film from him before. He roared all the way to the top with all 26. So yeah, it's a fantastic series of films, and I highly recommend getting it if you haven't already. And yeah, they do all obviously share, discs with one another, but I would never expect 25 films at the end of the day to have a disc each. The box set would just be ginormous at the end of the day. So yeah, but as far as this film goes, it's a 4 out of 5. Obviously, it does not quite match the 10 that I gave 4.5 out of 5 from the original series, but at the end of the day, 4 out of 5 is still as good as several films from the original series, if not better than a few as well. So yeah, I do highly recommend watching this, but hopefully you can get over the special effects that aren't that great, and then hopefully you'll enjoy it a little bit more. But if you have seen it before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Nonetheless, though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.